Hey everyone, welcome to StoryVerse. Here we bring history's hidden gems to life. Today we're diving into the incredible story of Nwanyeruwa, the woman who stood up to an empire and sparked a revolution. In the heart of colonial Nigeria, a whisper became a roar. A single woman's defiance ignited a flame that would engulf an empire's ambitions. This is the story of Nwanyeruwa, the unlikely architect of a revolution that would shake the foundations of British rule in Africa. The year was 1929. The British Empire stretched across the globe, its tentacles of control firmly gripping Nigeria. But in the markets and villages of the southeast, discontent simmered beneath the surface. Women, the backbone of local commerce and community, felt the increasing weight of colonial taxation pressing down upon them. Enter Nwanyeruwa, a woman whose name would soon be on every lip from Lagos to London. Who was this enigmatic figure? A market woman from Oloko Nwanyeruwa was no different from thousands of others, until the day she said no. It began with a census. British officials, eager to expand their tax base, sought to count the people, their property, and their livestock. But when a census taker named Mark Emeruwa arrived at Nwanyeruwa's compound, he encountered unexpected resistance. Nwanyeruwa, her eyes flashing with defiance, refused to be counted. She knew what the census meant. More taxes, more control, more oppression. In that moment, as she stood her ground against Emeruwa, she became more than just a market woman. She became a symbol of resistance. Word of Nwanyeruwa's defiance spread like wildfire. Women across the region, long frustrated by British policies that undermined their economic and social status, saw in her act a call to arms. But these were not arms of violence. They were arms of solidarity, of collective action, of the indomitable spirit of the Igbo women. As the British officials scrambled to contain the situation, they underestimated the power of the women's networks. Market by market, village by village, the message passed. Sitting on a man, a traditional form of protest, was revived with new vigor. Women gathered in their thousands, dancing, singing, and sometimes using more forceful methods to make their voices heard. Nwanyeruwa's role in this uprising was both central and mysterious. Some say she moved from village to village, a shadow in the night, whispering words of encouragement and strategy. Others claim she remained in Oloko, a steady beacon of resistance. The truth, like so much in history, remains shrouded in the mists of time. What is certain is the effect of the Women's War. The protests spread across 6 provinces, involving an estimated 25,000 women. The British, caught off guard by the scale and intensity of the uprising, resorted to violence. Dozens of women were killed, but their sacrifice only fueled the flames of resistance. As news of the Women's War reached the outside world, the British Empire found itself facing uncomfortable questions. How could a group of market women bring one of the world's most powerful empires to its knees? The answer lay in the power of unity, in the strength of women who had nothing to lose and everything to gain. Nwanyeruwa's tactics were as ingenious as they were effective. The women used their economic power, boycotting European products and disrupting markets. They employed shame as a weapon, using nudity in their protests to unsettle the British officials. And they leveraged their social networks, spreading information and coordinating actions with a speed that left the colonial administration reeling. But perhaps Nwanyeruwa's greatest weapon was her understanding of the power of symbols. She knew that her act of defiance, seemingly small in the grand scheme of things, could become a rallying cry for thousands. She understood that in the face of oppression, even the smallest spark of resistance could ignite a conflagration. The Women's War lasted for months, its effects rippling across Nigeria and beyond. The British, forced to reckon with the power of organized resistance, made concessions. The planned taxation of women was abandoned. Native courts were reformed, with women given representation for the first time. The warrant chief system, a cornerstone of British indirect rule, was severely weakened. But the true legacy of Nwanyeruwa and the Women's War goes beyond these immediate gains. It lies in the seeds of independence that were planted, in the awakening of a national consciousness that would eventually lead to Nigeria's freedom from colonial rule. Nwanyeruwa herself faded into the background after the uprising, her fate as mysterious as her origins. Some say she lived to see Nigerian independence, a quiet witness to the fruition of the movement she had sparked. Others claim she disappeared, becoming a legend whispered about in market stalls and village gatherings. What remains undisputed is the power of her example. Nwanyeruwa showed that true power often lies not in weapons or wealth, but in the courage to stand up for what is right. She proved that a single act of defiance, amplified by the voices of thousands, can change the course of history. In the annals of resistance movements, the Women's War of 1929 stands as a testament to the power of collective action. It reminds us that revolutions don't always begin with grand speeches or military maneuvers. Sometimes they start with a single woman saying no. As we look back on Nwanyeruwa's legacy, we are left with a powerful question. What sparks of resistance lie dormant within us? What injustices cry out for our defiance? In a world still grappling with oppression and inequality, the spirit of Nwanyeruwa beckons us to action. For in her story we find a timeless truth, that the most formidable weapon against tyranny is not found in arsenals or treasuries, but in the unbreakable will of those who dare to stand up and say, "Enough." Nwanyeruwa's whisper became a roar, and that roar continues to echo through history, challenging us all to find our own voices in the face of injustice. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing stories. See you in the next one.